We continue this lesson on priesthood. And we explain something about the different steps of priesthood. Actually, this sacrament, according to some theologians, is divided in 7 steps. It is the only sacrament to have this kind of successive implementation of the same sacrament. This is the opinion of St. Thomas Aquinas, that the sacrament of priesthood is given in 7 different times. Or even more if we add the bishop himself, who has the fullness of priesthood. Let us explain these minor and major orders. Now, if we start with the major orders, we speak about subdiaconate, diaconate, and priesthood. The subdiaconate is a preparation for the sacrament of holy orders and is of ecclesiastical institution. The subdeacon has been there to help the deacon, and they are traditionally the beginning of the major orders with the vow of celibacy that is made at the subdiaconate. And also the obligation for the priest to say the divine office, the breviary, every day. Now the subdiaconate and all the minor orders have been removed after Vatican II. Today, in the church, they are left only with diaconate and priesthood. But for us, we have kept this traditional division of the sacrament of order, and we continue to give all these steps. We still give this ordination, the subdiaconate, in the year 5 of seminary, like 2-3 months before to be ordained a deacon. This is where, when with the subdiaconate, we start to say the breviary every day as an obligation, a serious obligation, and also it is the step. This step we do at the call of the bishop if we answer to the call of the bishop saying, yes, I am present, I am here. And this step is a symbol of our perpetual vow of chastity that we do in consecration of our life to the exclusive service of God. But what are the role of the subdeacon? Actually, during the solemn Mass, this Mass with priest, deacon, and subdeacon, we had it for Maundy Thursday. The subdeacon is the one who pour actually the water in the chalice during the offertory. He is the one singing the epistle. He's holding the paten during the canon and gives the kiss of peace to the choir. Donc we do that during the solemn Mass. The diaconate is now the step before the priesthood. You can see this catechism is telling you the diaconate is the lowest degree in the sacrament of holy orders. The deacon receives sacramental grace. There is no dogma about it. This is a common opinion in the Catholic Church. St. Thomas Aquinas is defending the opinion that every order, even the minor order, give a part of the sacrament. But it's fine, we can hold the two opinions, or that the minor orders are not sacramental, or the minor order and even the subdiaconate are sacramentals. But the Catechism is telling us this opinion that the diaconate is the first degree of the sacrament of holy order. That is divided between diaconate and priesthood. Actually, the diaconate is of apostolic institution. That is clear. Priesthood is from divine institution. Bishop, priesthood. Diaconate is an organization of the early church to help the priest in their ministry by doing a part of the material job, actually, to distribute the alms and to serve the poor. And it is true that the subdiaconate and the minor orders are of ecclesiastical institution later in the history of the church. And this is why they could be also removed after Vatican II, because they are not really of apostolic institution, it's an ecclesiastical institution, it could still change. But for us, we have kept it as part of our tradition, and it's good also for the initiation of the seminarians to go through these steps and grow in grace, grow in awareness all along their seminary through these other minor orders. The deacons today assist the priests during the solemn mass also, sing the gospel, he can preach. Okay, he's the one in the solemn mass incensing the celebrant and the choir. He can present the host and the ciborium during the offertory, prepare the chalice himself by pouring the wine, remove the pall and put it on during the Mass, receive the kiss of peace from the priest. Of course, the Catechism is saying this today, the one performing these ceremonies is generally a priest, as we did on Maundy Thursday. But at this moment, during this Mass, we call this priest a deacon or a subdeacon because of the function he is doing. But in the seminary, we have deacon to be deacon and subdeacon to be deacon for these ceremonies. Now the priesthood is this second or seventh degree in the sacrament of Holy Order, and the episcopate will be now the highest degree in this sacrament and receive the fullness of the priesthood because the bishop is able to transmit his priesthood by ordaining other men priests, and a priest cannot do that. A priest doesn't have this power to ordain another man a priest because he has not received the fullness of this sacrament of priesthood. We can classify the priesthood into two grades, the priest and the bishops. Those who by ordination in the priesthood have power to offer Holy Mass, administer solemn baptism and extreme unction. But we need jurisdiction. It means we need a power given by the authority of the Church for the sacrament of penance and matrimony. And this ad validitatem. It means if a priest is actually confessing or marrying people without this jurisdiction, the sacrament is not valid. Of course, you have different ways to receive this jurisdiction. Necessity is also a way to receive jurisdiction. But we need this jurisdiction for this sacrament. A priest could also give confirmation in case of necessity, or if he receives a special permission from the bishop. He is now an extraordinary minister of confirmation. But in danger of death, every priest can give confirmation. Now, those priests who are in the episcopacy, they are bishops, now they possess the additional power of giving confirmation ex officio and holy orders, and they are the only one. Even a priest, even if he's delegated by the bishop, even in case of necessity, cannot give holy orders, only the bishop. The ordination of a deacon and a priest and the consecration of a bishop are only 3 degrees in a single sacrament, which confers orders for each degree. By means of the sacrament of Holy Order, the graces earned by the sacrifice of Christ are to be applied to the faithful of all times. This is the goal of priesthood, is to have these men who continue to apply the graces of redemption. And Jesus is saying that, as the Father has sent me, I also send you. So we have this origin from Christ, from the Father who sent Christ, Christ who sent the apostle, the bishop, and the priests. And that is still for the same goal, to glorify God and lead men to salvation. By always the same means, prayer and teaching. Donc we priests are sent by Jesus to continue his mission given by the Father. Now, what are these minor orders? The minor orders are the lower ranks of the clergy through which aspirants are prepared to receive holy priesthood, porter, lector, exorcist, and acolytes. These minor orders were instituted in the early church, still a bit later, but still in the first centuries. This catechism is saying they are not sacraments, but only preparatory steps to major orders. It is not the opinion of St. Thomas, who thinks they are sacramental, but actually they are still a means to receive the grace of God, to prepare these young men to become good priests. And they are initiated to different functions. Different role, and it's an opportunity for them to climb the step of priesthood. This for us, when we join seminary in year 1, we receive the cassock in year 1, and during the whole seminary, seminarian is wearing the cassock full time, not only in church, but everywhere, even at home, even during holidays. He is already a man of God, set apart to be consecrated, to belong to God, and he is removed visibly from the profane world. He is set apart, he has to be respected as consecrated to God and belonging to God, that it is clear for himself, through the cassock he wears, and for other people, that this man is not available for any kind of relationship because he is consecrated to God. Not definitively, maybe he will leave seminary and can get married later, but as long as he is a seminarian, he aspires to become a priest, and he has this dedication, this consecration. In the second year of seminary, we receive the tonsure. Tonsure is not a part of the sacrament of Holy Order. It's not a minor order at all. Tonsure is the official entry in the clergy of the Catholic Church. Someone becomes a cleric when he has received the ceremony of tonsure. Now the bishop is cutting the hair on the head at 5 different spots of the head to symbolize the consecration to God. You know, to shave your hair has always been a sign of consecration. A lady joining religious sisters cut her hair to veil herself, and even the men joining clergy, the bishop cuts their hair in 5 different spots to symbolize the 5 wands of Jesus in sign of a cross. And that is the ceremony that Cageni and Augustine received this year in February. They were received among the clergy. In year 3 of seminary, we receive the 2 first minor orders, porter and lector. And actually, during the ceremony, the seminarian is given by the bishop to touch, actually, the key of the church. That's giving him a power on keeping, actually, the material building, keeping the sacristy, keeping the sacred objects, being responsible for the material things of the church. He received also this other order of lector, and now it comes with a more spiritual power, because the capacity, the office to read some part of the liturgy. Not the epistle, not the gospel, but some part of the office of Matin or other office. And he does it officially. It is different when our pre-seminarians here are reading epistle and gospel. They don't do it officially. The priest is still reading them in Latin for the Mass to be done properly, because they don't have the power to read for the priest. If they were subdeacon, they could read the epistle ex officio. Or if they were deacon, they could read the gospel ex officio. But because they are just helping for the faithful to understand the meaning, the priest is still saying in Latin when they say in English. In the fourth year of seminary, we receive two other minor orders, exorcists and acolytes. Now the bishop is giving the book of exorcism to the seminarian for the ceremony of making him an exorcist, and he is given the candlestick, and also he's touching the cruets, that he is allowed now to bring the wine and the water at the altar during the Mass. And now you can see actually when our boys are serving Mass, they do the job of a seminarian in year 4, who has been ordained for serving Mass as an acolyte. So you can see why girls should not serve Mass, because it is a part of the sacrament of Holy Orders somehow to attend at the altar and participate to the sacrifice of the Mass. It's already a part of the sacrament of Holy Orders, the fourth, the highest actually, of the four minor orders. Now, we extend it to boys because maybe a boy could become a priest. There is a kind of capacity for a boy, and because we need altar boys, we need people to serve Mass, and we don't have seminarians everywhere. We have extended that to the boy, but you can see there is somehow a link with the sacrament of priesthood to participate to the offering of the Mass at the altar. Donc this is the organization of the sacrament of Holy Orders. Actually, something else about the tonsure. The tonsure is the moment when a lay person becomes a cleric, and now he is integrated to the clerical order and is assigned usually to a diocese where he is incardinated, or he can be incardinated in a congregation, a religious congregation. The Church doesn't want any priest or any cleric to be what we call vagus. Vagus, it means is someone who has no superior, who doesn't belong to any organization. The Church doesn't like at all this kind of priests or clerics who are without a superior. It is even clear in the Catholic Church that if a priest has left his congregation where he is incardinated, he has no right to give sacraments. He cannot say Mass publicly, he cannot confess, because at this moment he is not anymore in a setup of obedience. And this is important because the Catholic Church is hierarchy. We have a hierarchy, and we have to be under a superior. This superior is under a bishop or under the Pope, but we are member of the Catholic Church. And we are under an authority. And we have to respect as much as we can this organization of the Catholic Church. It has happened in the life of some saints. At a stage, they were unjustly chased from their congregation, but they were still chased out, and now they could not even say Mass. They could not confess, because they were not incardinated anywhere. At this point, they have to find a new bishop or a new congregation to receive them and give them now the power to exercise their ministry. It is important for us to understand this importance of the Catholic Church to obey and to depend on an authority. It is very important because today it is true that we have a certain crisis in the Catholic Church, but it doesn't allow us to do whatever we want. And this is a problem that is happening. Some priests or some young men want to become priests. They say, oh, you have a crisis in the church. They are finding a way to get ordained a priest. And now they start roaming around, saying Mass here and there. They have no congregation, no authority, no bishop, no obedience. This is totally against the spirit of the Catholic Church. Even if the situation is difficult, we still need to have a superior, to have an obedience, to depend, and as much as we can, to be under the Vatican, under Rome, under the Pope, because this is actually one condition to be a Catholic, is to accept the authority of the Pope, to be under this authority. Okay, we can have some complexity. Sometimes we can be under an authority and still decide not to obey this authority, because maybe this authority, like a child in a family, is under the authority of the father. But if the father is sending the boy to steal in the shop, the boy has to disobey. He cannot obey, because he cannot commit a sin. He's still under the authority of his father, but he will tell his father, sorry, I cannot do that. And this is not a rebellion. He is not denying the authority of his father, but he is respecting a higher authority, that is the authority of God. For us, this is our attitude in the Catholic Church. We respect completely the authority of the Pope. We are under his authority, we recognize his authority. But some things we cannot accept for the sake of the defense of the faith, the protection of the faith, and the faith is a very important common good of the Catholic Church, the doctrine, or even for the sake of the liturgy that has been given by the tradition of the Catholic Church, we cannot just abandon. This is why we can decide not to obey to this directive, but still we accept an authority. And actually, even the Vatican today accept to recognize us as a society because some priests wanted to join our congregation, were given permission by Rome to be transferred in our congregation, and they were also officially told that now they are incardinated in our society. It means, even for Rome, they recognize our capacity to incardinate members. It means the day of our tonsure, when Cageni and Augustine received the tonsure in February, they, by the same time, receive an incardination in our society that can allow them now to receive other sacraments and one day to give the sacraments, because they belong to a society recognized in the Catholic Church. But let us never accept to receive sacraments from a priest who is in his own, okay? He has maybe run away from his congregation without any permission. He has no superior, and he is going around organizing his own church. And this is not accepted in the Catholic Church, and we should not accept, and we should not participate to this kind of apostolate, because we must keep the spirit of the Catholic Church. And actually, there is sometimes a priest, even a kind of bishop, I don't know if he's really a bishop actually, who is passing by in Kenya. They say traditional mass, but the setup is very bad. Even the consecration of this bishop is doubtful. We even don't know if he's really a bishop. He has ordained recently a priest in Uganda. This young man, actually, he tried to join our society more than 10 years ago, and we say he has no vocation. He tried in another society, he was rejected. He tried in another society, he was rejected. He never went to the seminary, and he was just ordained a priest by this bishop, who is usually in US, passing by Uganda, ordained this boy a priest, and continue. He has never learned Latin. He has never learned moral theology, and now he can say Mass and confess. This is not acceptable in the Catholic Church, okay? And it is not something we can entertain, and we can say, oh, there is a priest saying Mass there, let us go and attend. No. You need to know where you go, okay? Because, of course, like in any society, in the Catholic Church, we have people who are breaking their vows, leaving their congregation, making their own things, doing their funny activities without any proper order. Yeah. But let us not participate to any things, because these people don't respect the practice of the Catholic Church. Even this bishop, he passed in Kiserian. I think he wanted to give confirmation to all the faithful, who are already confirmed actually, without any any reason to act like that. Or they go somewhere, they baptize children, there is no record, no registry, no baptism card, no way you can follow up who has been baptized when or where. The Catholic Church doesn't proceed this way. So let us understand that and be aware of some groups, some cults, some sects, some Sedevacantist group who make their own church. But that is not something we can accept in the Catholic Church. Yeah. There is an order. This is why actually this sacrament is called the sacrament of holy order. There is an order, there is a hierarchy, there is an authority, there is an obedience. And not everybody can do whatever he wants, pretending to be sent by God. And actually these groups are becoming more or less like Protestant groups, without authority, independence, giving themselves a mission that they have not received from any hierarchy. But it is not right, it's not good. Let us not participate on that.